In the world of professional wrestling and TV ratings, two wrestling companies go head-to-head for brand supremacy. This is the Wednesday Night War. Hello everyone and welcome back to Clothesline. My name is Owen and I'm here to bring you our Wednesday Night War review. And in case you didn't know, this is how it goes. I'm going to talk about 5 major things that happened this week on AEW Dynamite and 5 major things that happened this week on NXT. And then I'm going to give an overall review of both shows and then declare who was the overall better show this week. So let's start things off with AEW Dynamite. Lance Archer and Joey Janella. When Lance Archer lost his championship match to Cody back at Double or Nothing for that TNT championship, I was a little bit worried. I was worried because I thought he was about to lose his momentum, but luckily I was mistaken. He looked like a beast. He looked like a monster when he annihilated Joey Janella with his finishing move into the outside through the table. He looked awesome. And Joey Janella, the ultimate underdog, he gave it everything he had and he looked good in doing so. But ultimately, I'm happy that Archer won. I want to see him get pushed in AEW. I want to see him in that main event scene. I think he deserves it. I think his whole gimmick screams put me in that main event spot. Good for him. Good for both guys. The FTW Championship. So, tonight's Fyter Fest main event is postponed for next week as Brian Cage will challenge Jon Moxley for that AEW Championship at Fight for the Fallen. But for tonight, Taz has a little surprise for us. Yep, that's right. Taz awards Brian Cage the FTW Championship. The same FTW title that Taz held years ago in ECW. Hell, it's even the same freaking belt. And yes, I think it's a good look for Brian Cage. It elevates him a little bit. But is the timing right? Here's what I'm picturing in my head. Next week they have the championship matchup. Somehow Moxley wins the match or either Cage wins by DQ or something and he's mad that he's not the champion. So what happens? He's the uncrowned champion. So that's when Taz was supposed to present the belt to Brian Cage. Kinda makes sense to me, so why give him the belt now? But still, a good look for Brian Cage. I'm happy he's the new FTW champion. That move! Here's the thing about tonight's episode. It was a good episode overall, but the one thing that people will remember, it's not the Jericho Cassidy match, it's not the Janella Archer match, it's not the FTW title segment, it's just that one move. Yep, that one move that involves Ray Phoenix and Nick Jackson, that Canadian Destroyer to the outside, onto all those wrestlers. That's the move people will remember. But was it a good match? It was an okay match. Was it match of the year? No, it wasn't. Not by a long shot. The match was just okay. I won't even remember it by next week, but I will remember that move. So was it worth it for that insane move? Only time will tell. Colt Cabana. Here's the thing, I'm intrigued with the Colt Cabana storyline. Because frankly, I have no idea where this is going. I mean, on one hand, it could be the obvious, where Colt Cabana eventually breaks off from Brody Lee in the Dark Order and then fights him off. But then I could probably see Brody Lee finishes him off with a win in the end. But on the other hand, if Colt Cabana joins the Dark Order and turns heel, we get a brand new heel Colt Cabana. That's something I want to see. So I'm intrigued where this is going. The main event. So, was the match good? Yes, it was. Orange Cassidy looked like $1 million and Jericho made him look like $1 million more. So Orange Cassidy looked like $2 million. But was the match the main event? Sorry, but no. Nothing against Chris Jericho. Nothing against Orange Cassidy because they brought us a good wrestling match. But for me, it was nothing more but a mid-card feud. I don't see these guys, especially Cassidy right now, in the main event scene. And yes, you can give the excuses that because of Moxley's predicament and the whole situation that was, they pushed Jericho and Cassidy to the main event. But seriously, there were a lot of other storylines that I could have seen throughout these 2 weeks that any one of them could have been a main event match instead of this one. Not to knock on the match. The match was good. The match was very good. But I just don't see it as the main event card right now because I don't see Orange Cassidy in that position yet. Jericho tried to use the Jericho magic, the Jericho charm to elevate Cassidy's game, and he did. but for me it just wasn't enough. So that was AEW. Let's see what happens on NXT. Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim. Here's a rule for me. The opening match is probably the most important match on the card, besides the main event, of course. Why? Because if you want to hook your audience, especially for those first 10 minutes, you gotta have a good opening match. And this match was okay, and they had a good extreme spots in it, but the match was slow. I mean, it was a slow-paced, a little bit sluggish at times, slow-paced match. It felt like the match was in slow motion. It's very disappointing because with women like Candice LeRae, like Mia Yim, the wrestlers that they are, they put out a great performance usually, but this match felt a little bit off. The Robert Stone brand. You know, it's funny because when you think about it, the whole perception of the Robert Stone character changed overnight. I mean, at first he was a devious, slick manager, no pun intended, paired with Chelsea Green, and then he got dumped and now he's a laughingstock. But it works for him. He's funny. His comedic performance is amazing. He's hilarious. And he got run over by a tank. Almost every week ever since he started this whole shtick, he's been one of the highlights of the NXT brand. I'm glad to see him on screen. He makes me laugh every time I see him. And I wonder where this is going. Legato de Fantasma. So we got a first look of the newest trio in NXT with Santos Escobar, Raul Mendoza, and Joaquin Wilde facing Drake Maverick and his partners, the best tag team in NXT, hell, in all of WWE, Breezango. Hey, I'll fight you till the end of time. Breezango is the most entertaining, charismatic tag team on the goddamn roster, and I want to see those guys win those tag belts very soon. Another creative entrance by Breezango as they enter the ring to face Legato de Fantasma with Drake Maverick. A good match overall, but in the end it was Legato de Fantasma with the win, with Santos Escobar pinning Drake Maverick. Their war is far from over, and they gel well as a unit. They look good. They have a good heel vibe going on, but still, I want to see Drake Maverick win that championship soon. He deserves it. I mean, come on. He lost a job, then he brought him back. Let him win the belt at least one time. Mercedes Martinez. So Mercedes Martinez makes her comeback to NXT and not a moment too soon. Another great addition to the women's division of NXT. Probably one of the best women's division in all of professional wrestling. And no, it's not a knock on anyone. I'm just saying that NXT has one of the best women's division in all of professional wrestling. Either way, I'm glad to have Mercedes back. She's a great addition to the NXT women's roster. I do believe she's in line for a major push down the road, and it's great to have her back. The main event. It was the winner-takes-all match between North American champion Keith Lee as he faced NXT champion Adam Cole in a winner-takes-all, winner-gets-both belt match, and it was a great match. Even though someone had to spoil it and put a picture on Instagram, it was still a great match. Keith Lee gave it his all in this matchup with incredible athleticism, and if AEW had their crazy move, this match had its crazy move as well, as Adam Cole performed the Panama Sunrise onto Keith Lee. It just blew my mind. And like I said, Keith Lee wins the NXT Championship. He's a double champion now. Adam Cole loses and ends his 403-day reign as NXT Champion. I applaud you, sir. That was an amazing reign and a well-deserved champion as he is. Keith Lee, really a deserving champion. Out of all the NXT roster right now, he deserved to win that championship. He has all the momentum going for him in the world, and I'm just hoping he can get by Karrion Kross because I want to see him retain that championship. I think he deserves it. I think he should be the guy that beats Karrion Kross, and we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. So those were both shows, but who was the overall better show? This week, even though the ratings say different, I have to go with Fyter Fest. Because even though NXT had a more prestigious main event, Fyter Fest felt like a more solid card. With good matches, good story continuations, I was more invested in that show than I was in NXT. But that's not to say that NXT was a bad show. It was a good show, but the card didn't feel that much solid as much as Fyter Fest did. So this week goes to AEW. And that is our review. Now we would like to hear from you. Tell us in the comments below, do you agree or disagree with our decision? What do you think was the overall better show this week on Wednesday nights? Also, if you want to stay notified about when we're uploading this stuff, please subscribe to the channel, hit a like and that notification button, and thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you next time on another Wednesday Night War review. Thank you for watching.